Moonshiners has a revolving cast of bootleggers that has kept the show fresh for audiences for over a decade. But what's happened to many of the fan favorites who've already left the series? Bill Canny was on Moonshiners from 2012 to 2019, but he wasn't just a moonshiner. He's also an incredible carpenter. In one of his final episodes, he's shown delicately working on a fiddle, remarking that he was swinging a hammer like he was always meant to.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy carpentering before I started making liquor, and now I'm doing both.
So when he and the Discovery Channel parted ways, it makes sense that this was the direction he went in. Given that a 2020 update to his Facebook page showed him working on a roof, this assumption seems at least partially true. A 2023 update also hinted that he tied the knot with his longtime girlfriend. Canny's been keeping busy on the music side of things too, taking to the stage as the bass player with the Wes, Bill, and Rich Show, performing live music at venues around their home base in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Moonshiners might be about moonshine, but the new blood brought something different to the show. Lance Waldroup worked alongside his father before leaving in 2019, responsible for bringing things like absinthe to the Moonshiners' repertoire. Unfortunately, he died not long after leaving the show. According to TMZ, his mother reportedly called 911 on February 25, 2021, after finding him unconscious in his room. The official cause of death was listed as congestive heart failure, with cardiomyopathy and obesity as contributing factors. According to official reports, Waldroup had been going through treatment for opioid addiction and reportedly struggled with mental health issues stemming from the loss of his siblings, Lindsay and Lamar. According to a GoFundMe set up for the family, both siblings died of complications from cystic fibrosis. It was also revealed that his mother's diagnosis of multiple sclerosis was what led to his departure from Moonshiners, with the GoFundMe page claiming he did not want to leave her side and waited on her hand and foot. Moonshining has long been a family affair, so it's fitting that Jeff Waldroup worked alongside his son Lance when they were featured on Moonshiners. However, according to the GoFundMe organized after Lance's death, things have been difficult off-screen. Jeff's departure from the show came after Lance's mother was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and while the GoFundMe doesn't give specifics, it notes that Jeff went back to his other career full-time. However, COVID hit not long after they left the show, making work scarce and times tight. Since then, Jeff seems to have turned back to moonshining, paying tribute to his late son on the Facebook page for Jeff and Lance's Carolina Moonshine. He makes regular appearances at Granddaddy Mim's Distilling Company, and in 2022, confirmed in a Facebook post that he has no intentions of going back to star in Moonshiners. Any writer looking for a name for a master distiller in their historical fiction novel about moonshiners won't go wrong with the name Jim Tom. Fans of the show will know the real-life inspiration for it, since no amount of schooling can replace the experience the old-timers bring to creating moonshine.
Jim Tom has been fashioning stills longer than Josh has been alive, and there's no build he can't handle.
Tom Hedrick shared his liquor-making expertise on several episodes of Moonshiners, and when he died in 2023, it's clear that the show and moonshining industry had lost a valued member. Sugarland's Shine Distillery issued a statement on Instagram saying, Jim Tom dedicated much of his life to the art of moonshining, becoming a legend in Appalachia along the way. The statement also includes Sugarland's founder Ned Vickers claiming, gaining the stamp of approval from Jim Tom was instrumental in shaping the authenticity of Sugarlands, and we're forever indebted to his support and friendship. Deadline confirmed that after Hedrick left the show, it was to officially team up with Sugarland, though he kept in touch with some of his Moonshiners co-stars. He was 82 years old when he died from kidney cancer. Reminders of Tyler Wood's time on Moonshiners are all over his personal social media, as well as his business, Tyler Wood Distillery. After leaving the show in 2016, Wood focused on growing his distillery, which brands itself as selling traditional whiskey born from adversity. Wood stresses that his present-day endeavors harken back to a family tradition of moonshining that goes all the way back to the Civil War. His company claims to produce an all-grain, 103-proof white whiskey that's been aged for at least a month in white oak barrels. He also continues to work in the music industry, releasing albums as early as 2014 and as recent as 2021. In 2020, he released the official video to his single, Wake Up, announcing the release on social media while sharing his anti-vaccination beliefs. Wood has been very active on social media platforms, sharing Bible verses, anti-LGBTQ+ messages, and warning his followers and fans not to listen to fake news. He regularly posts videos to his feeds as well, occasionally sharing information about his former Moonshiners castmates. Wayne Nix had a relatively short stint on Moonshiners back in 2013, appearing in 12 episodes. It didn't take long for his fame to give him a leg up in going legit, with Broad Slab Distillery announcing that they were partnering with him to produce his Hanging Dog moonshine. But currently, the Hanging Dog website is no longer active, and the moonshine itself doesn't seem to be readily available. Nix's Facebook page still features his brand, although his posts and the videos shared on his YouTube channel focus more on riding dirt bikes and occasionally calling out the Moonshiners show, all the while reminding people that it's supposed to be for entertainment. Chuck Miller appeared on Moonshiners until 2021, but he's still in the business. Miller is listed as master distiller at the Belmont Farm Distillery, which brands itself as the home of America's first legal moonshine. Belmont Farm is also the home of Moonshiner's favorite, Tim Smith, largely producing Smith's legal moonshine, Climax.
You like it? Huh?
Miller told the Culpeper Star exponent that he and his wife established their legal distillery back in 1988, after the airline he was employed by went out of business. Basing his distillery around a 1930s-era recipe, he's kept it going and in the family. Miller remains hands-on at the Virginia distillery, with visitors often able to meet him in person. The distillery's active social media keeps fans abreast of their frequent events, which sometimes include appearances by other Moonshiners cast members. In 2020, Belmont Farm joined the list of distilleries that produced hand sanitizer during the COVID pandemic, which they've continued to sell, along with their golden gin, apple whiskey, chai-spiced rum, kettle vodka, and of course, moonshine. Roy Grooms appeared in 18 episodes of Moonshiners between 2013 and 2015 and wasn't shy about his profession. He regularly shared updates on his social media about area festivals, inviting his followers along for the party. His last update came in February 2017, with Grooms dying almost a year later at the age of 71. His daughter shared his obituary to her own social media accounts in February of 2018, saying that they would be honoring him at the Hillbilly Winter Jam. She wrote, "He was looking forward to seeing everybody and would want us to carry on by telling the stories he told and sharing memories of him." According to his obituary, he was survived by his wife, daughter, granddaughter, 2 brothers, and 2 sisters. No cause of death was given. J.T. Smith is the son of Moonshiners fan favorite Tim Smith, so it's not surprising that he followed in his father's footsteps.
It's a little intimidating, but I'm trying to keep the family tradition alive.
After appearing in episodes between 2011 and 2019, he partnered with Belmont Farm Distillery to create his own product, JT Rye. According to the official description, it's a rye whiskey made with a whopping 95% rye, with Smith adding, "I learned the craft of distilling whiskey from my father, who learned from his father. I'm honored to carry on a family tradition." While viewers might not be able to sample most of the products that run through the still on Moonshiners, JT Rye is one of them, as Smith created the basis for the product while still on the show. On top of moonshining, he also follows in his father's footsteps as a volunteer first responder with the Climax Fire Department and remains active in promoting giveaways and fundraisers on his social media to benefit the department. Some people only need to be known by a single name, and Moonshiners fans will tell anyone that's the case with Chico. He was featured in around 50 episodes, saying goodbye to the show after the 7th season. After his departure, Distractify claimed he was partnering with Old Town Distillery to release his own spirit whiskey. However, the distillery's Facebook page doesn't mention this collaboration. Their website is currently unavailable, and Chico's spirit whiskey only seems to be available in very limited quantities, with no indication of future production. Though Chico updated his personal Facebook page in 2018 with news regarding the birth of his son with Sondra, Sondra's personal page revealed that she married in 2020, becoming Cassandra Whitaker. When she ended her relationship with Chico is unclear. Moonshining isn't just about the liquor, it's about the history too. And no other Moonshiners cast members pay homage to the family traditions of backwoods distilling like the father-daughter duo of Patti, Bryan, and David Parker.
I've took her hunting, take her fishing. She's a workaholic. She's my best buddy.
Since leaving the show after appearing in roughly 30 episodes, Bryan continues to make her mark in moonshining, establishing several partnerships to sell her shine. Patti's Peach Pie Moonshine is available through the South Mountain Distilling Company, and Patti's Wild Mayhaw Moonshine was made and distributed through Sugarlands. Bryan claimed to the Natchitoches Times that even though her Wild Mayhaw Moonshine was created while she and Parker were still on the cast of Moonshiners, the recipe was 100% theirs. She added that they saw the opportunity to appeal specifically to female viewers due to the drink's pink color and lower alcohol content. While information on what Parker has been up to is scant, there are occasional updates posted on Parker and Bryan's joint Facebook page, Louisiana Moonshiners. These include sharing personal updates, like that of the passing of Parker's mother in 2021, and the 49th wedding anniversary between Parker and his wife that same year. Donnie, Benton, and Teresa Mays were only in 3 Moonshiners episodes in 2019, but they made a big impression as the Beattyville Hillbillies. Since then, they've been busy making moonshine and helping to preserve the moonshining culture of Kentucky. The couple was instrumental in the design and establishment of the Backwoods Moonshine Museum, one of the first museums dedicated to moonshining. In addition to chatting with moonshiners in person, visitors can see a myriad of stills and artifacts and talk about the industry's history. They're also a part of the recently established Moonshine Trail, which is a series of stops throughout Kentucky that explore the state's moonshine industry, giving visitors a taste of the real deal along the way. They've also been making public appearances at places like the Beattyville Bourbon and Moonshine Festival, promoting their completely legit Beattyville Hillbillies branded Huckleberry Moonshine. Big Chuck Battison appeared on 12 episodes of Moonshiners, usually alongside Josh Owens. But after being featured in the 2016-2017 season, he took to his Facebook page with some harsh words, claiming that he had never actually talked to anyone from Discovery about being on the show, saying, "I'm not a backstabber. I'm loyal to my friends and stand by their side no matter what. To those liars, drama queens, manipulators, bad people who break up friendships for money, I say, kiss my ass." In the meantime, he's been keeping busy. He's shared messages on his other Facebook page from organizations such as the Boyd's Kinsman Home, thanking him for his help at fundraisers, along with photos of his appearances and autograph signings at places like the Southern Distilling Company. He's also appeared at the Beattyville Bourbon and Moonshine Festival, where organizers lauded him for his giving spirit and devotion to nonprofits in need. When it came to moonshining, Marvin Popcorn Sutton was the real deal.
You had to have a set this big to do what the man done.
He was so real that he was arrested in 2008 for trying to sell 1,000 gallons of illegal shine to an undercover cop, and was charged with possession of a cache of stills, supplies, and guns. After he was convicted and given 18 months in jail, he died by suicide 4 days before he was due to start serving his sentence. But that wasn't entirely the end of his story. At the time of his death, he was married to his 4th wife, who told the Associated Press in an interview he couldn't go to prison. His mind would just not accept it. So credit the federal government for my husband being dead. I really do. His daughter, Sky, echoed those sentiments, saying Popcorn had also received a cancer diagnosis along with his sentence. She claimed, when speaking to Knox News, nobody was going to tell him what to do. He did it his way. He always lived a death before dishonor kind of life. Not long before his death, Sutton took steps to ensure his famous moonshine wasn't going to be lost to time by partnering with the distiller Jamie Grosser. Sutton's wife has also kept his legacy alive with branded merch, explaining to the New York Times he would like the attention, but he would swear he didn't. His daughter has also added to Popcorn's legacy by self-publishing her book, Daddy Moonshine, the story of Marvin Popcorn Sutton.